You might think that Napoleon's daily routine consisted of plotting world domination and waging ferocious battles. Well, not so much. While the famous French general and emperor did have a busy schedule, his daily routine might be more boring than you think. So grab your pillow and get ready for bed, because we're about to dive into Napoleon's surprisingly sleepy routine. 6:30 a.m. Time to rise and shine or not. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Napoleon wasn't an early riser. In fact, he often slept in, sometimes until 9 or 10 a.m. Even when he was in the midst of planning a campaign, he would frequently sleep late, much to the annoyance of his aides, who would often have to shake him awake. 7 a.m. A slow start. Once Napoleon got out of bed, he would follow a strict morning routine that never changed. First, he would wash his hands and face with cold water from a basin while his valet dressed him in his uniform for the day. He always wore the same outfit: a blue tailcoat, white breeches, and a red and gold sash. No matter the occasion, Napoleon was a creature of habit, and he liked to stick to what he knew. 7:30 a.m., breakfast in bed. While getting dressed, Napoleon would eat breakfast in bed, which usually consisted of bread, butter, jam, and coffee. He wasn't much of a talker during breakfast, so his servants would eat in silence while he read over his mail or prepared for the day. 8 a.m., the emperor attends to nature's call. One of the odder aspects of Napoleon's daily routine was his habit of taking a long time to relieve himself on the toilet. He would spend up to 45 minutes on the porcelain throne, and it was said that he used this time to read or write. Some historians believe that Napoleon suffered from a medical condition that made him spend so long in the bathroom, but it's also possible that he was simply a man of leisure who took his time. 8:30 a.m., a little work never hurt. After attending to his business, Napoleon would spend the morning working in his study. This is when he would meet with ministers and generals to discuss military strategy and important matters of state. Despite his reputation as a brilliant military strategist, Napoleon wasn't much of a morning person, and he often struggled to focus on work. His solution: take frequent breaks to rest and recharge. He would often lie down on a couch or take a break in his bedroom to clear his head. 12 p.m. lunchtime. For lunch, Napoleon would eat leftovers from the night before or order a simple meal from one of his favorite food shops in town. He wasn't a big eater and rarely ate more than a pound of food per day. After lunch, it was time for Napoleon's favorite activity, taking a long nap. He would often sleep for several hours, and his wife, Josephine, would sometimes join him for a little shut-eye. When he was younger, Napoleon had a strict bathing schedule, washing himself every day at 3:30 p.m. But as he got older, he became lazy and would often go days without bathing. Instead, he would wash his hands and face each day and use perfume to cover up any unpleasant odors. 5 p.m., back to work. After his bath, Napoleon would return to his desk to finish his work for the day. He would often work late into the evening, and his schedule didn't allow for much downtime. At 7 p.m., it was time for dinner, and Napoleon would often eat alone in his room while reading a book or writing letters. He preferred to eat simple meals, such as soup, meat, and vegetables, but he wasn't above indulging in a nice bottle of wine. 9:30 p.m., winding down. After dinner, Napoleon would retire to his bedroom to rest. He would often read a book or chat with his wife, Josephine, until it was time for bed. 10:30 p.m., lights out. Napoleon was a firm believer in the importance of sleep, and he would often be tucked into bed by this hour. He would read until he fell asleep, and his favorite pastime was reading books about ancient Rome. So there you have it, folks, a peek into the surprisingly boring life of one of history's most fascinating figures. Napoleon Bonaparte may have been a legendary conqueror, but his daily routine was more bath and bedtime than battles and bloodshed. Don't let the title fool you. This guy was all about those naps and cleanliness. Who knew history could be so sleepy? And if you enjoyed this sleepy journey through time, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more exciting adventures. Your support really means the world to us. Until next time, happy dreaming and keep those likes coming. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you later.